the Men's Lounge LA Father's Survival Guide.
You couldn't wait to say that shit. Huh?
I love that shit, man. Because I mean, think about it.
You know, it'd be cool, man, if we had something that says Father's Survival Guide, like
Right
there.
Right. But you know what?
Only for those shows, though.
Huh?
Only for those shows.
Only for those shows.
You know, just for the aesthetics of it. So we got to look at getting an overlay for something like that, or something.
Overlay is much easier.
Well, overlay, we don't want to cover up our logo, but I'm saying some kind of banner.
No, but once we edit and put it on StreamYard,
right?
Yeah, we can always do that.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, the Men's Lounge LA Father's Survival Guide.
Mm-hmm. But hold on, before you say that, I was thinking about this yesterday when we came across this. We were so tired yesterday. I was thinking about this. It had, like 7 topics?
7 segments, yes.
Okay. I think on this first one, we can go ahead and say we're going to have our series on Father's Survival Guide. Today, we're tackling child support. In the future, it's going to be this, that. So get ready for it.
Yeah, I need to print that out then, Yeah,
no, I'm just saying. I think that'd be good because that's a guide. We let them know each chapter.
Each
topic.
Episode. Yeah.
Is going to be starting off with child support. Then it's going to be whatever, because I can't remember the total list. Let's do it that way. And then when we get to that next show, and I think that'd be good too when it comes down to the radio.
Right.
Because then they'll be expecting, okay, oh, damn, they got this one coming up. Can't wait to hear that one. And then the thumbnail that Jay can put together for us. So that could be the start when we start this survival.
But see, on YouTube, they'll see me pick up the paper. I'm going to keep my glasses on instead of keep, putting them on, taking them off. I'm just going to leave my glasses.
That's fine.
Leave my glasses on.
No, I just thought about that now for this first episode, since we got this guide that's being created.
Right.
Now, this was another thought I had. Let's ask chat to where 2 things. What can we do to do this in a conference so we get monetized? And what can we do to write a book?
All right.
Let's write a book.
Can
we get each episode
as a chapter?
Correct. And then create a book from that so we can have those books when we do those.
And we can do a workbook.
Exactly.
Not only a book that we can to read, but this is a father's survival guide.
Yeah. So each episode that we do is going to be in those books. In the books that we have when we do these conventions, we sign those books and people have them.
Man, this going to turn into something big because we already have a podcast that's going to allow us to sell our books like a lot of these other guys. Sell their books and shit.
We can have our booth set up just like this with our logo. We can even have a table. Everything that we can have our studio set up at that convention.
Right.
Because I think they do have podcast conventions in certain parts of the city. So we had our Father's Survival Guide, whatever that's saying, exactly like that.
Yeah, Father's Survival
And we
Guide.
have it transform into a book and using AI. Dude.
We be some bad mofos.
Dude.
Yeah.
Talk about making that money. Because right now, that's male empowerment at its best.
Right.
When it comes to
how many men, I don't care what generation it is, how many men were literally sat down by their fathers, the ones who had fathers, have fathers.
Yeah.
How many men were sat down by their fathers and say, hey, son, this, that, and the other, and they spell it out, To be perfectly frank.
How about you be perfectly Frederick?
I'll be perfectly Frederick. I'm not going to throw
this motherfucker here.
No, man. We can throw
He's always Frank.
But never Frederick.
See, but that's the bouginess in you.
That's
be
the bougie.
Perfectly Frank.
Yeah.
How about be perfectly Frederick? Goddammit.
No, my father, he taught us a lot. He taught me a lot, either directly or indirectly or through osmosis.
Yeah.
The one thing my father and my parents didn't teach us is relationships. Didn't teach us how to pick a girlfriend, how to date, or anything like that. We had 5 boys.
Relationships is one of those topics? And the reason why I'm asking that is because that's a good point that you're making about what dads or parents don't do. They talk about birds and bees, and that's considered a relationship thing right there. But that's just a saying of birds and bees.
No,
other than just saying, "Hey, teaching your kid how to fuck."
You got to get down to brass tacks. Like this one lady, she was a single parent, and
I'm glad you didn't say single mother.
And she split custody with the father. Okay. She never took that away from him.
That's good.
She told her son at a young age, right around the age of 10, she taught him and told him about condoms.
Okay. I respect that.
That's rare.
That's a single parent. Now,
that's a single parent. See, that's rare.
For me as a dad and having 2 sons, there's a different conversation between mother and dad when it comes to that kind of talk.
Right.
Because the dad know what it's like sticking the dick in. Right. The mother know what it's like having the dick stuck in her. But when it comes down to the big picture, you know, when you're in the heat of battle, you got to be able to wrap that shit up.
I agree.
You know, so I'm with you on that. So let's do it this way. Let's get with chat. We can stop this now if you want. You know,
no, let's keep talking, man, because we can put this on the we can use this. We can use this and put it on iHeart.
Right, that's cool. Even though you look like shit.
But they don't see us on radio.
Well, good point. We have to just edit some of this shit out so it won't be obviously this candid when you're talking about radio and this and that. Right. Good point, because we did talk about that on just having something specific for radio.
And when we do this, we can download this, send it to Jay and let him edit it.
Chop it up. Yeah. No, good point. I like that because this is off the cuff. You know,
this is good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to the Men's Lounge LA. Go ahead and do it.
Hey, we empower. Welcome to the Men's Lounge LA. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Mm-hmm. I'm your host, Frederick Douglass Southern, aka Sir Frederick.
And I'm your co-host and partner in these conversations, Coach Chris.
Hey, here at the Men's Lounge, we empower men. We empower good men to become better men. Yeah. We empower men to embrace their humanity and their masculinity. And yes, at the same time, we stimulate and uplift the women.
Yep, I don't have a cap on, but I tipped it.
But wait a minute.
Whoa. You finished.
No, I didn't finish because
you mother father.
I love
you mother flower.
Because not only do we stimulate and uplift the women, without the women, we wouldn't be properly balanced.
There you go. So you need to learn your shit here. So
no, I got it, man. You just quick draw McGraw with the lips,
because
man.
it didn't like you stop.
Man,
you can't have no dead air on the radio.
Man, your lips moving so fast, I can give your lips a ticket, man.
That's all right, man. It'll be a ticket I'll be happy to pay because it'll be worth it. No. Hey, and when it comes down to women, I always tip my cap. I was raised by a single mother, and we always give the women props on the show because without the women, we're doing nothing. How you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm excited about this podcast, but not only this podcast and this episode, but the entire overall picture, the bigger picture, simply because the umbrella is Father's Survival Guide.
Yeah.
And there's going to be at least 10 episodes to this, you know, on one on child support and this and that. And I apologize for not having it all spelled out.
Yeah.
And I will in subsequent episodes.
Yeah.
But there's going to be at least 10 episodes on the survival guide.
Yeah. 7 to 10.
7 to 10.
We may add one more to it.
You know, the thing of it is that a lot of young men don't have a blueprint. And if you were fortunate enough to have a father, they were only able to get what their father was able to give them and impart to them. Right. And then and from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So my question is, and I know I'm guilty of it, my father, we didn't teach our kids. I didn't teach my children about relationships and this and that and how to pick a man, or, you know, it's a lot I didn't, you know, because I didn't know how.
Okay.
And my father didn't, my parents You know, that was a subject in that generation.
It was like taboo, really.
It was like taboo. They didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They
during our era. Nowadays they talk about every goddamn thing.
Yeah,
but it's all on social media.
It was, and it not only was it they skirted around it, it just wasn't even brought up.
Yeah, and that's what we need to figure out why. You know, why wasn't it brought up? Or maybe it just wasn't brought up in certain households, and some households it was.
For the most part.
So that's for the listening audience right there. Hey, was it brought up in your household where your parents talked to you about relationships?
Right, you know? Relationship, sex.
And we're not talking about the birds and bees like we mentioned. I'm talking about relationships. What it's like to vet someone. You know, what are your core values? Does that meet? And matter of fact, that's what that was in your church. We talked about that day, core values.
Core values, yeah.
Because I had forgotten that in that other episode we were talking. What that topic was core values, knowing your core values. That's the one I was in last in your church that day, and it kind of hit me early, right. And I wanted to bring that up,
right?
So we can readdress that too. And matter of fact, we're gonna have a show on core values here, and that can be part of the what's the thing here?
Well, this one is on child support.
No, the Father's Guide.
Father's Survival Guide.
Right. We can add core values into that some kind of way, so where fathers can teach their children how to recognize their core values. That could be something we can address and think about during that series when we do this guide.
Right. Well, in this particular episode, we're talking about child support.
Yeah.
And we're discussing one of the most emotional, controversial, and misunderstood issues affecting fathers, families across America, and that's child support.
To me, it's not misunderstood.
Well,
and the reason why, because it's such bullshit. You know, and I'm like any other person, man. And when it comes down to being a realist on this, I am not advocating for any fucking deadbeat out there, because I was raised without a father. I'm still in my son's lives. I would not ever not be in their life until I'm gone. And that's just the bottom line. But there's a lot of good men out there that's getting ravished in the court system, and that's where I have the problem. Now, these deadbeats, those are the ones that should be paying. The ones who are not doing what they're supposed to do, they don't fit here in the Men's Lounge LA. We would like to empower them, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, those are the motherfuckers that we need to get to so they can start taking care of their children.
You know,
no dead air, man. Come on.
No. You can pause. No, it's okay to pause on radio because I'm collecting my thoughts.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
I think quick.
You know what is? Yeah, you do. What is a deadbeat dad? Who's to? Let me finish. Because I know you inhale.
I didn't interrupt you.
You inhale.
No, you like to say that shit.
Yeah.
Let me finish, Coach. Fuck you.
But what is a deadbeat dad? By whose standards is he a deadbeat dad?
Not doing anything for his children.
Well,
walking away from his children. No, I'm answering your question. Just a minute. I'm answering your question in a nutshell. The guy who does not spend time with his children when he has the ability to do it and they're in the same freaking city. The guy who just thinks that, okay, I don't want to have nothing to do with them because my dad didn't have anything to do with me. He just a nothing, a nobody. All he was a sperm donor. You know, those are what I'm talking about. And there's more things that goes with that, but that's just the main two for me right there. You have an opportunity to be with your children. You have the opportunity to be their father, and you choose by choice not to do it. That's a deadbeat.
I got you. The flip side of that is when the mother doesn't allow the father to come around or spend time with the children, and she calls him a deadbeat. Now, the door swings both ways. Right. And because she's upset, pissed off at him, and uses that as a pawn and punishment.
Yeah, but see, that's not my definition.
No, it's not. But my question was, what's a deadbeat dad? What's the definition of a deadbeat dad?
See, this deadbeat dad, you're hearing from a man. When women say that, they say that out of anger, frustration, and bitterness. And you know that's not true for all situations. Just like it's not true for all situations. What I'm saying, I'm talking about that specific guy who choose not to be a part of their children's life. That's the guy I'm talking about. Because that guy I have no sympathy for that guy. I would love to be able to empower that man because that's what we're here for in the Men's Lounge LA.
Right.
But I'm just saying, that's my definition of a deadbeat. You should be there. My dad that I found said to me, I never denied you. And I already found out what his background was on how many children he had. And then how close it was when it came down to my brother Billy and myself when it came down to age. So he took care of his children from what I understand. But, you know, he's a womanizer, okay?
What high-powered man is it?
Exactly. So I'm not judging him
Right.
from what he did, because if he didn't do what he did, I wouldn't be here to this day talking to you guys and trying to empower you guys. But my point is, and I'm going to be firm on this, a deadbeat is a guy who has the opportunity, should be doing what he's doing to make sure his kids getting the fatherly duties that he deserved to give to them to help them grow. That's the guy that I'm talking about. And like I said, there's other things in there too that go with it. You know, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time and doing what you're supposed to do to take care of your children. That's my definition of deadbeat. I'm not talking about this woman who's pissed off at him because now she can't get this dick no more because now he moved on.
Get whatever.
Exactly.
Whether it's sex, money, control, whatever. Let's move on.
Sure.
What is child support supposed to do? That's the topic right there.
Okay.
And this can be just strictly radio, this discussion.
Okay.
And we'll have Jay to edit that out.
Jay did not edit it out.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, what is child support supposed to do? Why child support exists, supporting children, sharing the responsibilities with the parents, the child well-being. What was child support originally designed to accomplish? Is the system still fulfilling its original purpose? Has the focus shifted from helping children to collecting payments? And what does successful child support actually look like?
That's a good question because I've never seen it.
You've never seen what?
Successful child support. You know, because men get ravaged when it comes to something like that. When I was going through my child support situation, you know, it was not about the money for me. You know, I was doing well. My children were being taken care of by both parents. But she had that same attitude you were talking about these other women because she heard it from other women. Oh, girl, go ahead and get this, that, and the other for him. And it actually turned out to be when I went to court to protect myself, to make sure, because I got frustrated with the verbiage that they had in there talking about I was 20% dad. I haven't been 20% of nothing my entire life.
Right.
I'm not even 20% fat.
Right.
So fuck that
Not 20% body fat, huh?
Exactly.
Right.
So fuck that noise. But hold on, let me finish. So when it comes down to that, you know, you have to put yourself in a situation to try to win when it comes to your children. I'm just passionate about that, man. You know, my voice is going to go up and down during this particular topic because I don't like when men get done wrong, when the men doing what they're supposed to do. I'm all loud when men are not doing what they're supposed to do as well. So I'm going to have this up and down tone in my voice. You experience this shit yourself too.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so my passion for this is for the men who are doing the right thing, and my passion for this is for the motherfuckers who's not.
So the question is, what is child support supposed to do? And that question is to stimulate the thinking of our listeners.
Well,
whether it's a man, woman, father, mother who's listening to this, what is it supposed to do?
I get that. It's supposed to be support for the child, like it says in the title, child support.
But see, we typically focus on the money aspect of it.
But that's what it is. It's money. That's what the court system does because they say it's for the best interest of the child. And the best interest of the child is getting the money so they can be provided for by the single parent, mother.
Well, actually, from the research we did from a different broadcast, it was to assist the parent who makes less money to support this child.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. But see, we also had the orgies on that as well.
The orgies.
Origin.
Oh, orgy.
I mean, orgy.
I said, where you get this orgy stuff from?
We had the origins on it in that show we did when we read the origins on child support and how it was British law, British something law. I don't have it in front of me right now, but we can go ahead and put up the overlay on that from the last show, and then we can kind of revisit that.
No, this is strictly going to be radio.
I know it's radio, but I'm just saying, but for us to know how we cut this stuff, because there's going to be a lot of editing for this if we're going to do something on this for radio. You know, some of the stuff may be used, some of it may not because of, like you say, being off the cuff. But the origins was what British poor law. You remember that?
I remember that.
Okay. So by being a British poor law, because they didn't want this particular parent to be in that situation where they were struggling. But child support wasn't coming from the man or the woman, it was coming from the system to the woman,
Right.
from what I recall.
Right.
Now it's coming from so-called, and how they have it restructured, from the man. The man who makes the most money, like you just said.
Right.
And this person who's making the most money is going to go ahead and provide additional money to this parent, this single mom parent.
For the children, for that
the
household.
children. But this is the problem I have. Most of these women are not using it for these children. They're using it for themselves.
Yeah, that's the frustration that that a lot of men have.
Right.
And I've heard this. I've heard two people say, once the money leaves your hands, what can you do?
See, but I have a problem with that.
Yeah, once the money leaves your hands,
It's a true statement, and there's no way to measure it. And that's where I have a problem with the system. Because it should be a way to where this money should be just like an EBT card, where you just put food or a SNAP, whatever they call it. You can only press food or you can press cash. If you don't have cash, you can press food. And there's certain things you can't buy because it's not on that card. I think it should be a card made for child support to where it's basically almost like an EBT or a SNAP card, to where it's only going to be done for things that can be for a child.
I can see that.
That's how you measure it.
Right.
This mother can't go to the freaking salon and get her hair and nails done with this money now because it won't go through.
Right.
That's my take on that. And I know you bitches out there gonna hate that. Cut that out, Jay.
How many fathers, next question, how many fathers feel frustrated?
I feel frustrated. I'm done with it.
No, feeling reduced to a paycheck,
Yeah.
outdated income calculations,
Yeah.
job loss,
Yeah.
arrears,
Yeah.
feeling unheard, and lack of understanding of modification. So here are the questions. How many of you fathers resent the system? What's the difference between accountability and punishment? Can a father love his child and still struggle with child support? And are fathers viewed as parents or primarily as payers?
A lot of dads feel that way, just as payers. See, and that's why most men, not all, but most men, just realize how fucked up the system is.
Right.
Because of what you just read there. Because we're only seen as a paycheck. And it's kind of similar to that thing I mentioned about the gold digger pranks I see.
Oh, yeah.
These women look at this guy and only see him as a provider, which is just a paycheck because you're fucking lazy. You don't want to do anything. And this here puts women into being lazy, because now you only knowing that you're getting this $3,000 a month. That's going to cover a whole lot of stuff if you live in certain areas.
Right, but the question I'm asking to the listening audience and to stimulate their thinking, why many fathers feel frustrated? Why do a lot of men feel frustrated?
Because the system is not perfect. It doesn't serve the purpose of what it should be serving because of how it goes through.
I think it's a little more than that. I think it's because...
Well, what's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, the amount of time that they're able to spend with their children. A lot of men really want to spend quality time. It's all time. All time is quality time.
I agree with that.
But more time to have an impact, to feel their presence, so their presence can be felt.
Yeah.
That's frustrating when you telling me I can only see my child Monday and Wednesday and then every other weekend.
Okay.
Okay. And I think that presence is one of the main frustrations a lot of men experience.
I'll use myself as an example. On our show that we have in our library, on our platform, our dad raising us without a blueprint.
Right. I remember.
Listen to my son, Andrew, on when you asked me that question about something similar to what we're saying now. He said that, he didn't understand it because he was so young. And he was in a situation to where he enjoyed being around dad. Pause it.
No, just go ahead, and we'll cut this out. Can you turn your ringer off?
No, it's Kibito, my insurance guy. Yeah. What's up, Chris? That's my insurance guy. What's up, bro?
Man, I called you by mistake.
You call who?
I called you by mistake.
Oh, okay. Man, I love you too. I love you too, man. It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
All right, man. Later. Hey, man, I did some adjustments over here with the title and the analytics, and this is blowing up over here now.
You talking to me?
I was. Oh, shit.
What happened?
Hightower.
Oh, really?
She just texted me. I got to see what the fuck she's talking about now. It's still going.
Yeah, no.
You didn't pause it.
No, you can't pause it.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
All right, man.
It's gonna stop and it's gonna start a new video.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
That's fine. Okay. Call me and let me know if you might be available to meet tomorrow between 3 and 4 p.m. near the scene of the accident. No. I have a physical therapy appointment at that time. I have a physical therapy appointment around that same time, so that's not going to work for me, unfortunately. You give me 1 day notice like that? What's the matter with her? All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on.
All right, Jay, here we're about to resume.
Yeah,
How many
make some
fathers-
edits. Do the best you can with this, Jay.
Yeah.
And if you can clip this together, it's going to be a lot of work. It doesn't have to be anything in a hurry, but just do what you got to do to try to bring something together for this.
Okay, how many
Just for radio.
Yeah, just for radio. How many fathers feel frustrated, feeling reduced to a paycheck, outdated income calculations, job loss, financial hardship, and why do so many fathers resent the system? What's the difference between accountability and punishment? Can a father love his child and still struggle with child support? And fathers being viewed as parents or primarily as payers. That's the frustration. How many fathers feel frustrated?
A lot. Like I say, man, we can throw a rock out the door, hit a father, and he's going to feel the same way if he's going through that. You went through it. I mean, just by going through this and understanding, you know, the full dynamics of how this whole situation is so painful. Because like we said in the last episode, you know, reduce access to children for men. You know, there's not really too much you can say when it comes down to who's hurting more. But I don't want my children hurting. You know, since she created the problem with the divorce, I can give a fuck about how she feels. You know, but I'm always concerned about my children and how they feel. You know, what I was saying prior to that is go back to that episode when Andrew said, "Oh, when I was at Dad's house, I wanted to stay here."
Right,
and that,
right,
you know,
right.
You know, because he wanted to be around his dad. There's a lot of guys out there. I mean, not guys, but children out there that feel that way about their dad.
Yeah, this is the frustration. This is the frustration that a lot of men have and they feel and they're dealing with. A lot of them reduced to a paycheck, the time spent, and they feel unjustly done by the system. You know, when I was going through that divorce, again, I didn't know I could fight.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to lead into that with the 50-50 parenting question. I didn't know I could fight. She just threw on there, I don't know, 60-40, 70-30. Her, the mediator. Again, I didn't know I could fight. And I just took what they gave me and rolled with it. And I'll tell you something else that's frustrating for me. Now that we're talking about frustration, why do fathers feel frustrated? The mother didn't want to work with me. If and when I wanted to visit my children, I had to go over there, pick them up, drop them off. In fact, I had to do 2 round trips.
I remember you told me that before.
I had to do 2 round trips. She wasn't interested. I couldn't make her do anything. She wasn't interested in dropping the kids off or meeting me halfway or anything.
Yeah, because she was trying to be hard on you about that.
You know, and that was one of my frustrations as a father. So I'm just wondering with the audience, the listening audience, what's your frustration as a father that you're dealing with that you could share with the listening audience?
Let's swing that door both ways. What's your frustration as a mom to put the father through that? You know, why wouldn't you want to help relieve his stress, which bring less stress on the children?
That's a fair question.
So that's my question to the listening audience. Swinging the door both ways.
That's a fair question.
You know,
but everyone's selfish, including us. We're selfish.
Of course.
I'm not trying to put the women down or throw them under the bus. Don't get me the mother. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Because their frustration does go both ways. And right now we're primarily focusing on, the men and their frustration because we're men. And we're going to always go through that.
Yeah.
As men and as fathers.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
And when you said that about women and mothers, again, it swings the dope both ways. What can men do? This is not a question on my sheet, but what can men do to minimize the frustration of the mothers? Because I believe women are really good experts at giving back the same type of energy. Right? So if we make up in our minds as men to take it easy on the mothers, to try to reduce some of their frustration, communicate better, and they're good at returning the energy, that might just relieve some frustration both ways because we're feeding off of each other.
Right. And when we feed off each other like that, that's where it becomes chaotic. When you have one person that's feeling a certain way as far as anger, bitterness, and this and that.
Where does it start? Where does it end?
Yes.
Yes.
And then they can see that you're trying to keep it balanced, but they just want that frustration to be, a part of this conversation to where they don't even try to compromise.
Right.
That's where I have the problem.
The 50-50 parenting question. Most men don't know they can fight for 50-50. Matter of fact, in the state of Kentucky, they came up with that law. Do you recall?
I do.
They came up with that law that shared custody is 50-50 now. And matter of fact, they discovered something else, that when they came up with that law, divorce rates decreased by 25%. And other states have been following that. I think Arkansas is one of them. I have to check the stats again, but the 50-50, both parents are actively raising the child. Should the law start with the assumption that both parents matter equally? Why do some fathers still pay child support under 50-50 custody? And does the current system properly account for parenting time? Does equal parenting benefit the children?
Equal parenting definitely benefits the children. And that's evident from what you were saying in our last episode about the house that these people use to share a home.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks in, 2 weeks out.
Right.
So if you have somebody got that kind of mindset that can do something like that,
but see, they were able to work with each other, Coach. Right. The wife was able to work with the husband was able to work with the wife. But the bottom line were the children.
Right.
They were doing everything for the benefit of the children, and they got their asses out the way. Excuse my expression, because I typically don't,
You want to leave that shit up to me, huh?
I leave it up to you. I mean, because you're good at that. So the 50-50. So here's our listening audience. I'll share this with the listening audience briefly. So I talked about it in divorce. There's a couple, and they were going to divorce and sell the house and break up the family, and it really was destroying the daughters, had 3 girls, and their schooling, their activities, their sports, pajama parties, and all that was just going to go to the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who came up with this idea to split the house. I never heard about it until that was back in 2004. That was the first time I ever heard split the house. Whereas everything stays the same. What changes are the parents. And the father would spend the first 2 weeks in the house with the children, and the mother would leave and go somewhere, and she would have the house the last 2 weeks of the month while the father steps away. Where they went, I have no idea. Friends, whatever. They didn't bring their boyfriend, girlfriends home. And they did that to strictly support the children. I never heard that before, but it worked. The husband was in the house the first 2 weeks of the month. The wife, mother, was in the house the last 2 weeks of the month. They were still sharing a joint bank account. And whoever was in the house at the time paid the bills.
Beethoven.
So that's splitting the house. And in that sense right there, no one had to pay child support because everything stayed the same. He didn't have to pay child support. So 50-50. Coach, question. Why do some fathers still pay child support under the 50-50 rule? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that, and it's been noted, and it's a lot of social media clips out there showing court scenes to where fathers get ravaged like that. So for me, it's definitely part of the system and how the system's so corrupt when it comes to this particular situation with having the best interests of the child's, having the best interest of the child is how they say it, if I'm not saying that correctly, but you know what I mean. And when I see that, it's actually quite disturbing because overall, and like I said before, man, there's a lot of men out there that's not doing what they're supposed to do, and they need to be ran through the ringer. I have no sympathy for
Right.
them. Like I said, we want to empower these men, but if you're going to have that kind of mindset, there's probably no empowering for you. You're not even you're at rock bottom as far as I'm concerned. And when it comes to that, man, it just bothers me, especially on being raised without a dad, and I wanted to find my dad my entire life, and even just going into that and knowing how my dad was when he was younger, from what my brothers told me about him, I wouldn't want to be around a man like that. So that's what I'm saying. For these children that get abused that way mentally, because mental abuse is just as bad and sometimes
physical.
worse than physical abuse.
Yeah.
Because physical abuse you can heal from. Mental abuse, you really don't heal from that in most cases if you don't get the proper therapy.
Right.
And we're strong on therapy for our platform.
I agree.
So overall, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it's not about the fact that I had to pay money. Like I said, it wasn't about money for me when it came down to that. Because what I was saying initially, when I went to court, they actually reduced my child support because of how much time I did have and was having. So she got less.
That I did not know. You never told me that before. I didn't know that.
Man, let me tell you the story how it went down. We were in Santa Monica court, and we didn't actually go to a judge. We went to a commissioner.
Got you.
And we sat in front of the commissioner, and my paperwork was together because he came from this group I told you about. We're going to have him on the show.
What is it?
My Child Says Daddy.
Yes.
Reggie put it together for me. And he's going to be on our show. He said he's going to do it. And this would be good to have him on this show, but this is going to be us right now, and then we can pull him in because we have a series on this.
Right.
But I never forget this. We got to the court pretty much same time. Different cars. We're in different spaces in our life right now, but we had a court date. And just so happened we were in the elevator at the same time. It was just her and I in the elevator going up to this floor. And the first thing she said to me, I didn't even speak to her because I was just so upset, and I was disappointed in her. I didn't want to use the word upset. I was so disappointed in what she had did to us, not just me, to us, because these boys suffered as well.
Right.
The only thing she said to me in the elevator, no judge is going to stop this. I need that money. And I didn't even respond. Got through the whole court, saw the commissioner, and when we saw the commissioner, she was like, okay, Mr. Wilson, I see that you're doing this, that, and the other. I'm going to reduce it from this amount to that amount. And she was standing to my left, and all I see her do was drop her head.
Wow.
In disgust. In disgust. Because she said no judge is going to stop this. She needs that money. She was greedy. She was greedy. So that's the real truth on what happened to me. I still was paying a pretty lump sum because I was making some pretty money, but the judge balanced it out on how it should have been and from what my custody, my visitation was. I don't even like using that word visitation because I saw my children every day.
Right. Right.
So that's the real truth about me.
What many fathers don't know? How many fathers are struggling because nobody taught them the system? What are the biggest mistakes fathers make? How often should a father review his child support case? That's a big one.
Yeah.
And why do fathers wait too long to request modification?
Because they don't know.
But here's the cap off of this. Fathers, never allow your child support to operate on autopilot.
Yeah, that's huge because that's complacency and that's content. You're complacent in your life. You just let things flow and you're content because, okay, I just let it. I'm just paying, so forget it.
Right.
And that's kind of going into that deadbeat shit because right now you're just settling. Instead of thinking about the children and what the children need other than money, they need your time.
Let me ask you this. How often do you check your credit report? How often do you check
once a month.
Your bank account?
I check my bank account.
Your balance and all.
I check my bank account after every purchase.
Right.
To make sure it's going to be the right amount.
Right. Do you ever look at your receipts after you shop or whatever?
Yeah, I'm very thorough. I used to major math, man. I was a math major.
Well, the reason why I'm asking you this question simply because
I know why.
Well, I know you know why.
Yeah, but tell our listening audience.
For our listening audience, because we need to do the exact same thing with the child support rulings and all that. The listening audience, I'll give you a good example. Even with my case, my brother said, man, he said, you're still paying child support? I said, yeah, rearage and interest. He says, what you need to do is go down child support system, go down there and tell them you want an account review from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was kind of resistant actually. Mm-hmm. He said, man, I did it and come to find out I was 3 months ahead of the game.
Right.
And I stopped paying child support 3 months before my daughter graduated from high school because I'd overpaid. And I said, okay. So I went down there and I filed an audit. Miss Holman, Penny Holman, that was her name, Miss Holman. And she says, Holman,
okay.
Holman.
I'm just
Holman.
asking.
I'm just clarifying.
Not Coleman, but Holman.
Holman with an Holman.
Coleman instead of a Holman.
Holman. So
all these holes.
She says, Mr. Southern, I have some good news and bad news. What's the good news? She says, at one time when Mrs. Southern was on child support, you were paying back into welfare. And welfare, Department of Child Support Services, they don't talk. Although it's all about support for the mother, they didn't talk.
Yeah.
You overpaid the welfare system like $6,000.
It's a good chunk.
So I'm going to take that $6,000. Well, let me just back up a little bit. I owed $20,000 in rearage, right? $14,000 of it was interest.
How the hell did it be interest on child support?
It is 10%.
That's crazy.
So it was 14% in interest, and $6,000 was the principal. And she says, I'm going to take that money and move it over from welfare to DCSS, Department of Child Support Services. Yeah. And we're going to satisfy that. And I said, what's the bad news? She says, well, you owe $6,300.
Okay.
So you have an outstanding balance of $300. Mm-hmm. Where do I send the check? I'll do that today.
Yeah,
And
I'm reaching my pocket. I give you cash right now.
well, no, she says, I wanted to say that. She said, but you have to send it to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Here's the
Yeah, you
case
gotta go through the
number
system.
and
Yeah,
all that so they can make a record of it.
I understand.
And I did that, man. And Ellen, another thing she did, she squashed all the interest.
That's why I'm curious about how you get interest on something like that. So child support is a loan?
I don't know how to explain it, man.
It's a loan?
But it was interest. That's the penalty, and that goes to the state.
That's great. See, that's the scam.
That's the scam.
That's the scam part right there.
Why are you charging me interest on child support for taking care of my
I didn't
children?
sign up no paperwork like I'm getting ready to rent this damn child support.
No, but when you don't pay, it accrues interest.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't make sense to me. I get that. How about if it just stays at that point to where it's rears? So the interest is what? For them have to do the work to go track your ass down? And fine you and take your license and take your freedom and put you away ultimately because they're working?
Yeah,
I thought they were getting paid by the state no matter what you're doing. So that means that interest is going into the state's pocket?
Yes.
That's
and here's another part of
crazy.
the frustration right here that we forgot to mention. Part of the frustration is that when you miss payments or if you change jobs and there's no money coming in, they want to track you down. They want to suspend your license. They want to incarcerate you. You want to penalize you. So I never understood, why would you penalize me in that way in terms of suspending my license and incarcerating me when you're taking away the very means of enabling me
To pay child.
to
Support the child.
support the child.
That's the oxymoron.
I never understood that, man.
I don't either. But see, that's the reality. See, it puts fear into men who are definitely don't want to go to jail to do it when they're not being that dad that we talked about.
That negative
Right.
yeah.
Right. So I'm with that. I'm with that. So, but either way it go, it's just crazy to me. It just doesn't make sense to me, man, when it comes down to this system.
No, it doesn't. Paternity truth and accountability. Every man should have the opportunity to confirm paternity before legal fatherhood is established. Should DNA testing become standard practice? What happens when a man discovers years later that he's not the biological father? And how do we protect both innocent children and an innocent man? A child, deserves support, but every man deserves to know the truth.
Okay. I'm with that.
So what are your thoughts about DNA testing, mandatory DNA testing at childbirth?
100% for it. 100% for it. And this is the reason why. Mama's baby, papa's maybe. It is not that we're trying to bash women. There are some women out there that do crazy things to where they're with multiple men, 3 or 4. And they're trying to find the best one to choose to.
The suitable one.
Exactly. There's not that many women out there to do that. So I'm just saying, but in that case, you have that situation to where you got to protect yourself. Now, if you're stupid enough as a man to keep on falling into that trap, you need to just go ahead and deal with the consequences. That goes back to just, you can't even control your sex life or whatever it is. But I think it's absolutely crucial for a man to know if that's his child, either in a relationship or even married. Because the mother knows it's hers. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There ain't no disputing that at all. So yes, I think mandatory child paternity should be at every birth, period. And it would do nothing but, it would help relationships because women know that they're gonna get caught. It would help the family because men would know this is my child. And if he's a real man, he's gonna step in and do what he said he's supposed to do. And then secondly, it's gonna stop a whole lot of stuff that's going on out there in the streets that's been so, destructive in our community, in both sides,
Right.
on both sides.
Right.
Because there's certain women you don't want to get with and have a child. And there's certain men you don't want to get with and have a child.
The door swings both ways on that
Exactly.
one. I'm with you on that one.
So overall, it should be mandatory.
What podcast were we watching? Whereas the man got this lady pregnant, and he went down and did the DNA test, and she kept saying the kid was his, and they actually sent him the results by mistake. Do you remember watching that podcast or the video?
Yeah.
And
No, I don't think it was by mistake. I remember what he's talking about. He actually requested it, but she didn't know. He requested it. He requested a copy of it because he wanted it sent to him because he wanted to know. Because if it went to her, he would have never got it.
right.
So
He would have never known the truth.
Exactly.
And-
So I remember that one.
And so for your listening audience, this gentleman, the results came to him, and when he went to her and asked, "Hey, did the results come?" and this and that, and she was still lying about it. Yeah, it's yours, and make arrangements for child support and visitations and this and that. He says, "Why you lying to me?" "I ain't lying. I'm telling you the truth." He said, "Why you lying to me? I'm gonna give you an opportunity to come clean. This is clean." So he pulled out that letter out of his back pocket and showed it to her, and she was crushed.
Yeah.
She started crying, and he says, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you?" She says, "Because I figured and felt that you were the best one, the best candidate
Exactly.
to help me take care of this kid."
Out of all the men she was messing around with.
Exactly.
And that's a slap in the face to him, as far as I'm concerned. That's a slap in the face to any man. Now he's got to put his whole energy, his love into this child, and he's going to have love for this child if he's already doing something like that. It's hard for a man to walk away from a child he invested into emotionally, thinking it was his, spiritually, and all those other adjectives you can use. There's no way a real man can walk away from that. But to hear that you were the most suitable one, even though it's still not your child, it takes a lot of guts and courage to walk away from that as a man. I know that on how I feel about my sons.
Right.
Just period. If I just found out through this life I have now, and my oldest is 32 and my youngest is 29, and I find out they're not mine, there's no way in the world I would just not have the same relationship with them. As a matter of fact, we even saw another clip about an old dude that went to court and found out none of those kids was his.
What, he had like 3 children?
Yeah.
They were married. He was like in his, 50s, 60s, or something like
70s
that?
damn near.
Really?
Yeah, remember that one?
Well, I'm
And
commingling.
they were in court.
I'm commingling with another case.
Yeah.
I do recall this couple. Yeah. I do recall. All right.
It's amazing, man. That she has not corresponded with me this whole time, and I'm getting emailed back to back from her. It's crazy.
All right. The Father's Survival Guide. 10 rules every father should follow. Number 1, stay involved. Number 2, know your court order. Number 3, review your case every 90 days. Number 4, document everything. Number 5, request modifications immediately when your circumstances change. Number 6, separate child support from visitation issues. Number 7, control your emotions. Number 8, communicate professionally. Number 9, learn your rights and responsibilities. And number 10, never stop being a father.
I'm with that.
Never stop being a father.
I'm with that. For sure.
Let me ask you this, Coach. If you could change one thing about the child support system tomorrow, what would it be?
Have a true audit system that shows that the child support money that's due to these children going directly to these children in that manner I said, like some sort of card to where it's trackable on how it's being used. And if the mother's using it in the wrong way, the card should be revoked, and the dad should be put in a situation where he's going to be a custodial parent. That's what I would do. Because obviously she's not using the money for the kids.
Me personally, I think 50-50 split would be one of the best things. Money is one thing, but you can't take away time. You can't substitute time. You can't substitute presence. If there's one thing I could change about the system, that would be it. A real 50-50 split. What advice would you give fathers who's losing hope right now?
Don't lose track of the big picture, in the big picture of your children. When you lose hope, that means you're not going to have the right mindset and the right ability to take care of that child. You know, so actually be doing them a disservice. I know it's tough. It's very tough. I went through it personally. You went through it personally. And we've talked about our different ways we dealt with it.
Yes.
You know, so when you lose hope, I would say find that place to go talk to someone that's been through it. Go find a therapist. That way you can, you know, speak upon it with your therapist, or even check in with us. You know, go to info at the Men's Lounge LA and check in with us, and then we can counsel you.
And we can support you.
Exactly, 100%. So I would say that to the men who are losing hope, because losing hope is giving up. Don't be a quitter. Like I said, as a coach, I don't like quitters.
Right.
You know, and as a man, I don't like quitters.
Right.
Because that's the easy way out. You know, why would you want to take the easy way out? Because life is hard already. And this is just a tough time in your life. And then in turn, you would be able to help someone else down the road. Think about it like that.
What advice would I give a father? Never stop fighting. Never stop fighting. Find your strengths. What are your strengths? We all have strengths. We all have our weaknesses. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you know about yourself? Use those strengths. Capitalize on those strengths. And the areas that you're weak in, find a way to strengthen yourself in those areas that you see that you can use some help in. But never stop fighting for your children. They remember that, and so do you. And the sad part is that you get to a point in life where you think, I could have done more. I should have done more. I wish I could have, you know. Regret is a weighty thing. Even if you do something wrong and get smacked for, do it. But at least you did something. You made an attempt to change something, or to add something, or to strengthen something, or to support, show a little extra support. Never stop fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, we as men, and we talked about this before on many other episodes, we like to hold things in. So, and something like this can bring on some embarrassment for men. So that's why they don't talk about it. It brings on shame, which is similar to embarrassment. And it brings on, you know, I can handle this and I'll just deal with this my own way.
Right.
All those things bring on health issues.
Right.
And then now you're checking out internally, mentally. And then that's when you talk about that giving up thing. So it's not about you. You're going through this, but it's not about you when children are involved, because if you're talking about child support, children are involved.
Right.
There's no question about that. So try to do everything you can to keep yourself together. It's hard. It is really hard. But there are support groups out there. And we'll have it in the description on this particular broadcast.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, there's support out there. You know, even if you don't come to us because you don't trust us or you know us, but if you're hearing this broadcast over here on iHeartRadio and all these other platforms that we're on, just know that you got to help yourself so you can help others. And those others are your kids.
There's help out there. And if you ask for help, you'll be surprised how the universe will send you that support. All right, Coach, take us home.
I love this topic, man, because like I said, it brings out the passion in me that I have for this entire platform anyway. But as we end all our shows, just like I say, as we empower men, everyone benefits, including and especially the woman who's looking for a man like that. Please subscribe to this channel and enjoy our entire list that we have that we're bringing to you guys on this radio show.
Here at the Men's Lounge, we're empowering men. We're strengthening families, and we're transforming lives with content that matters.
Content that matters.
Content that matters.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm Sir Frederick.
I'm Coach Chris.
And we'll see you next time.
In the lounge. In the lounge.
In the lounge.
All right, so there's